Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, spoilers incoming, so if you haven't seen it yet, favorite and come back. But I have a question for people who have never played the game. So if you've never played the games, you're just watching the show, one, did you know this was going to happen? Was it spoiled for you ahead of time? And two, did you ever guess this was going to happen? I want to know what your raw reaction is to this. Because I had always wondered what fans of the Game of Thrones books must have felt watching people watch the show who had never read the books, especially when there was big moments like the Red Wedding. And this is essentially the Red Wedding of The Last of Us. It's a super tragic event that nobody saw coming. But the difference is when Game of Thrones was coming out, spoiler culture was not nearly as rampant. Pretty much the only place where it gets spoiled is Twitter. And it just wasn't as hard to avoid spoilers as it is now. But I have seen people openly discussing this event since before season 1 was even finished. So if you're on TikTok chronically, if you're online chronically, I don't even know if it's possible to have avoided that this was going to happen. So I'm curious how many people were able to go into this completely blind and did not have this spoiled for them. And of those people, how many people didn't think this was going to happen? Because I was always on the assumption going into The Last of Us Part 2, the game, that Joel wasn't going to make it through that game. Because they marketed that where Ellie was super angry and upset about something. And I always thought the only thing that would make her that upset is losing Joel. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise to me. Obviously, I didn't know how it was going to happen. But when it happened, it wasn't as big of a shock to me as it was to a lot of people, I think. But the show didn't really market Ellie's anger as a central point of season 2, I don't think. So did you see this coming, even if it didn't get spoiled for you? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, give me a follow.